All right, hey, it's 7 o'clock Monday night here in Warsaw, Illinois, and as you can tell, I had to shave because I got beat by Brian down on the 1v1 challenge, ACA challenge. So, got to wear a mustache for a few weeks. That's gonna be rough. I'm not really digging it, but a bet's a bet. So, Brian, if you're watching, you'll be wearing a mustache here soon. I promise. So I got some guests on, Scott Linton, Jake Nally going to jump on tonight. We're going to talk about catfishing. We got Jake and Scott got a tournament coming up this Saturday down in Alton, Illinois. It's going to be a fun time. Weather's looking good. We'll get into the details on that and then talk about everything else we got going on from tournaments we got coming up. We just added a new tournament today. We'll talk about that. If you can hear me good, everything sounds good, get a thumbs up in the comments. I got the comments up. Mancho Man, Seth says, yeah. So while everybody's jumping on, I'm going to just play. I just actually uploaded the Keystone Lake video from this past season. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but again, we're looking to be in Oklahoma for 3 events in 2024, and we got a few more events still to add. So watch this video, and then we'll get into everything tonight.
Place, our first time in Oklahoma. We're down at Keystone Lake. 27 teams from all over. A lot of them had to come here, had to catch some fish, and they did
that. Hey everybody, we're here at Keystone Lake here in Manfred, Oklahoma. This is a beautiful lake, big lake, clear water, lots of fish. We haven't seen a lot of big fish this week pre-fishing, but I think we're going to see some tournament day. Really excited for it. Everything about this event is awesome. We are here at the Harbor Grill. It's a really cool place. We got food, drinks, fuel. You can dock up. Everything will be out of the Harbor Grill. So again, our captain's meeting will be Friday night. We're going to have everybody come, hang out, shoot bags, have some fun. Saturday morning, we're going to take off out of Harbor Grill. And then Saturday afternoon, we're going to have the weigh-in right there at Harbor Grill. 5 fish limit, 2 over 30, 3 under 30.
There's a solid one.
That's right, all there. 7.
We're really excited to welcome Twisted Cat Outdoors to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to Keystone Lake. We've got a beautiful day today and an awesome lake. It is one of Oklahoma's largest lakes. A lot of rock on the bottom, a lot of big cat out there. I think the anglers are having a really good time. This lake was really built for machines like the Sea Ark, having those big tanks, catching some big pigs out there today. It's gonna be fun to see what the anglers come back with.
Code right here, we'll probably have the weigh-in done by then, but again, today was a 5 fish limit. Each team was allowed 2 over and 3 under, so 2 over 30 and 3 under 30. .20 pounds for big fish. 59.08.
We're going to measure all the fish with the Parks ruler. It's a certified ruler, and again, it's very consistent. You want to make sure that we don't have to disqualify anybody. There's several anglers here that need every point they can get. So if an angler's out there and they're chasing points, they don't even want to be close to that 30. So it'll be interesting to see with these 27 teams if anybody gets disqualified. I hope not, but you never know. It's competitive catfishing, and the sport is on fire. It's really growing fast, so we're really excited to see it. We also had an on the water live today. We had 3 boats from the tournament. They were on live with us with Glenn Thomas and the ACA. That was really fun. We did a 4-hour segment on that. That's something we're going to continue to do with Twisted Cat Outdoors, and we got some really fun stuff I can't even tell you about, but just wait in a few months what we got coming for you.
Andy Allen and Kevin McCoyne, $1,080 for 3rd place with 58.30. They also had our $500 Castaway Customs Big Fish, 59.08. Brian St. Anna, Koya Sneed, $1,800, 63.74. Lance and Tyson, Lucky, Dominic, Pellegrino, $3,600. First place. It's an awesome place, our first time in Oklahoma, or definitely our first time at Keystone Lake. 27 teams from all over. A lot of them had to come here, had to catch some fish, and they did that.
All right. If that doesn't get you fired up, so that was Keystone Lake in Oklahoma. We had a fun time going there for the first time, actually, for Twisted Cat to be in Oklahoma. So hopefully enjoyed that. Again, have a lot of great things coming for 2024, even though that the season technically starts in 2023 at New Year's Eve weekend at Lake of the Ozarks. So tonight we've got Scott Linton and Jake Now. We're going to bring them in, kind of talk about what they have coming up this Saturday down in Alton, Illinois. And then we'll kind of talk to these guys, try to pick their brains on how the fishing's going on down there. I know they've been catching some big fish, and they're used to catching big fish. So let's bring these guys in. All right. How we doing, guys?
How's it going?
Good.
It's Monday night. And everybody's making fun of my mustache. Somebody just said Mario. JT, I deserve it, I guess. I deserve it. So, Scott,
congratulations. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. You can congratulate him.
Congratulations, Brian.
Yeah, I know he's laughing right now. I'm waiting for a text to come through. He'll be screenshotting this. So Saturday is big tournament at Alton, out of Bluff City. Trying to go in, if you want to fish it, kind of going over the hours, the fish, how you're doing the weigh-in, kind of go through all that for everybody.
Okay. So it's Chasing Cats Outdoors is the tournament. Starting at 5 a.m. Saturday morning at Bluff City Outdoors. We'll do sign up and live well checks. So after you do your sign up, you can go launch your boat, but no fishing until 7. The fishing hours is from 7 to 2. And you have to be back at Bluff City by 3. So after you get back to Bluff City, we'll weigh your fish, and then we're going to give them back to you, and then you can take them to the river and let them go. And then that's pretty much it.
I think the closest ramp there is the Alton Marina, right, Scott?
Alton Marina, or right there by where Alex had his in March.
Yeah, by the amphitheater.
Amphitheater.
Just for people that aren't familiar with the area.
Yeah, and Bluff City's just right up the road. So, I mean,
Big thanks to Mark for sponsoring us. He's covering the insurance for this tournament, so big shout out to him.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love these winter tournaments. I helped Craig Norris with the Missouri River Catfish Classic, and it was fun and laid back, and fishing wasn't that good for us down in that area, but there was a team that caught fish bumping. So I guess what are your thoughts on how the water temp is, and like water coming up or down? Like what do you think the bite's going to be, I guess?
So the Missouri right now is holding pretty steady. I think it's like 8.5 out of St. Charles on the level. Mississippi's dropping a little bit. I think it's going to be about -2 in St. Louis come Saturday. But the fishing itself, the past 4 or 5 weeks has been crazy. I know, I want to say at least eight people or 8 fish that's been caught over 75 pounds. A week before my birthday, I caught a 90. And then a couple days later, I caught an 83. And I had a 58-pound kicker with it. Just a lot of fish.
Wow.
So
what's the bait situation down there? I mean, are there gonna be any bait for sale if they're wanting to get like some fresh shad or?
Yeah, I believe Mark's got some shad there, but if you're fishing tournament, you always want fresh bait, and I suggest you bring it. Hit one of the smaller lakes around the area or your area before coming down, because shad on the river, you know how that could be. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Jake, you're fishing?
Yes, I'll be fishing. Me and Ashley's gonna fish, and it's something me and Scott's kind of always done at tournaments. We kind of fish against each other.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to pull up a picture. Let's see if I can do this here.
Oh boy.
So that's what these guys can do in that area at Alton, Illinois. So what did those two right there weigh? One was over 90?
I think
91,
mine was 92, 91, and then Scott, what was yours, 88?
88. And then
That was your PB.
Yeah, that was the PB. I think I broke it 3 times that year.
Yep.
Caught like a bunch of 80-pound fish.
Yeah.
So I've been fishing for, gosh, probably like 11 years, pretty hardcore. My big fish still is like stuck at 76. So what are you doing? Not that you're to give any of your tips away, but what are you doing differently, would you say, over the last couple of years that have put the bigger fish in the boat? Is it bait? Like what's that change been?
For me, it's there's three major things. You got to have good bait presentation. You've got to really trust your electronics. You got to be able to know how to read your graph. I pass on a lot of 30, 40-pound fish because that's not what I'm looking for that day or whatever. And the spot you pick, I mean, the spot you want to go and fish. Me personally, I'm going to look for current. That's what I'm doing.
So when you say current and you're on the Missouri, I mean, are you looking for that current seam? You know, a lot of guys think that they try to get up in there and fish like those deep holes on the inside. Obviously, you're not doing that.
Well, this evening we went out. We didn't catch nothing big today. I mean, I think like 30 pounds was the biggest. And we were actually fishing the deep hole inside the dike. But on that dike, it had a big blowout. And that water was just ripping through there. I mean, just as fast as it goes in the main river. And then fish were just stacked in there. We caught.
So what makes them stack in there, you think?
I don't know. It's like, to me, almost every dike is a little different. But sometimes they're on that flat. Sometimes they're down in the hole. Sometimes they're above the wing dike. Sometimes they're on the tip. You really got to understand your electronics and what a big fish looks like, if that's what you're going for.
You know, and that's the difference on the Missouri River. You have so many different scenarios, you know, like if you fish the Jeff City area or the St. Charles area or Columbia Bottoms, all those dikes are different in their own little way. You know, do you see, like, if you're out there on like today, if they were in that, like they're on a tip, would you say that in that general area that's what you focus on, or 2 dikes up, you go and look and see that they're inside in that hole, or are they all trying to stay true to the pattern you found?
No, so every fish is different. I mean, if you find them on the tip on one dike, they might be in the back corner on the next one. We were talking about that this evening, and I don't understand why they all don't do the same thing, but I guess the water temp might be a degree different in that next dike, you know?
Yeah. Do you always scan each dike when you're fishing, or like, will you go blind fish?
I pretty much always scan.
Always.
Now that picture you had of me and Jake, we
Oh,
fished that
shit.
dike because we've caught a lot of big fish out of there, and we made one pass going. That's where we wanted to fish. Jake said, "Let's fish it." So we went in there. I just made one pass on the scanner. I said, "There's one good fish in here," and that's what we decided to do.
Mhm. And what happened when we left, when we had the fish that we had, Scott?
Yeah, you know, when you got 180 pounds in the boat, you worried about getting back to the boat ramp. So I think we left a little early. And on the
But
way
what'd we
out,
see?
on the
Yeah.
way out, we see another 60 or a 60 on the tip of the wing dike.
Yeah, I mean, that's a true giant when you see fish like that. So you had 2 big fish. I can't find the picture of the other one you weighed. But what did you think your third fish in that tournament weighed?
It was small. It was 10 pounds.
He lost one too. That was pretty nice though that morning.
Right. Yeah. Like one of our first bites, big bite, big takedown, pulled drag, but I think it missed the hook. So
that is a tank right there. You see a lot of people, show a fish that they caught and they might call a 40-pounder 70 or whatever, but that right there is a true giant.
Well, I have that superpower. I can make a big fish look monsterish.
Yeah. So in that tournament, go ahead.
Our buddy Jason, Big Cat Mathena, he makes a fish like that look small.
It's unreal how it makes them look small.
If Big Cat's holding that fish right there, it's 15 pounds.
Oh, for sure. All day.
So we talked at that tournament. That was 2 years ago now. And I remember you guys said that you stayed in the same spot for most of the day. Is that right?
Yeah, we
didn't leave. Didn't leave.
So that's a big thing you always see people running, pulling the Charlie Blair, and they sit for 5 minutes and then they drive for an hour and sit for 5 minutes. What made you stay? Like, you just knew that, or you marked those fish, they just weren't biting, and you knew that at some point them fish are going to bite.
So a lot of it in the wintertime, that fish move. They hop dikes. That's all they do most of the day. They hop dikes. So I think a week or two before that, well, maybe 4 weeks before that, I went inside that dike. Very first thing in the morning, we caught a 65 and a 40. I said, all right, let's get out of here. We fished other places. Didn't have no luck in the other spots. Came back to that dike, tied right back up to the same spot, and I caught an 85. I said, them fish they move through there. It's something about a certain dike they like there.
I remember that morning, Alex, because I gave you a call. I said, man, you guys going to weigh in fish early? Because I got a 100-pounder sitting in the boat. And you're like, I'll just sit tight, man. You sure it's 100-pound? Yeah, it's pushing it.
I remember that.
We sat tight, and then 45 minutes later, Scott's rod goes down. We put an 88 in the boat, and I'm like, we don't have a whole lot of live well left here.
Right.
Yeah, especially if you caught another one like that. I mean, that was crazy weight just in two.
So it was pretty funny that morning. We were sitting there in our spot, and we usually just fish, left side of the boat, right side of the boat. Jake's rod's on one side, mine on the other. And before that first big one, I think I caught 5 fish. Pretty small.
You're smoking me.
Jake's like, what'd you do? Put all the fish on your side of the boat? I said, yeah, we got to get them in the boat, And it wasn't a minute later, his rod just goes straight down and doesn't come up.
Yeah.
So how you guys fish when your partners and you're out there and you're going to anchor fish? You've got this side of the boat. You both split that, or do you kind of?
Yeah.
What about baits and or is it Jake's rods, Jake's rigs, Jake's bait? Do you guys mix it up and see?
Yep.
Do you think that matters, or do you guys stay the same?
No, we mix it up.
Always mix it up. My baits, my everything. Scott does his. I'm not even allowed to help. I'm not even allowed to be nice and cut bait for Scott. Scott has to cut his own bait the way he wants to cut it.
That's I've heard of a lot of people talk about that. And anybody in the comments have any questions about what we're talking about? If it's how to cut bait or where to fish, or not where to fish, but any questions to ask these guys? They've been doing it for a long time. They're doing some guiding and they really know what they're doing. Like I said, I fished in Missouri a good amount of times, but I've just not got on that big fish bite yet. But hopefully Saturday that changes.
Let me tell you, December is the best time to fish the Missouri in our area.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think a lot of them fish are starting to come down. They start coming from the west. The fish migrate in the Mississippi. They do the same thing in the Missouri.
Yeah, because we definitely know, that the fish in like pool 20 on down to Alton, they really they kind of disappear. So, you wonder if some of them hang around the Alton area, go up the Missouri River a little bit.
Yeah.
Phil says, do you guys use shad guts or is it mainly just shad?
Go ahead, Jake.
Mainly just shad. Unless we're desperate, then we'll try threading some gut on there with a treble hook. But yeah, you know.
So, Greg's asking what is Saturday. So, Greg, these guys are putting on a tournament in Alton, Illinois. It'll be a good event this Saturday. So, you have any other questions, let us know. But if you want to fish a tournament this Saturday, Alton, Illinois is the place to be. We'll be at Bluff City Outdoors. They'll start checking live wells at 5 a.m. and take your registration. How many people in a boat again?
Up to 3 adults and anybody under 13, or I think that's what it is, 13. It doesn't count towards your limit. So if you got a bunch of kids,
What if they act like a kid?
Are you talking about Charles
Like-
Blair? Is he fishing with you?
Oh, Bird Nest Blair. Bird Nest Blair, or is it Slot Limit Blair? I think he's got a bunch of
Well,
names.
it's lately it's been Charlie Cruz.
Charlie
We used
Cruz.
to just cruise around. But so back to the shad guts again. As you go 10 years ago, 5 years ago, you always heard that in the winter months, December, January, on the Missouri, the lower Mississippi, you want to use small bait, small shad, like they won't bite skipjack. It's got to be shad. Some people use shad guts. So bait size when it's really, really cold, do you think that affects the bite?
Yeah, I think when it's really cold, it would definitely affect the bite. But coming this Saturday, I don't think it's really going to matter on shad size.
Okay, so I'm throwing. Do I even cut them?
Throw.
Throw
So
one
what
big
me and
bait.
Scott do? He'll throw smalls and I'll throw big, and whoever catches, who's ever doing better, then we switch over.
Right.
My theory is, and I'm sure everybody else that fishes and knows this, and when I take people out and for guide trips, I always tell them, I said, it's just like going to the Golden Corral. Me and you ain't gonna pick the same thing, so mix it up, have a buffet for them, have everything from small, medium to large, and figure out what they want that day. Just let them tell you.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And it could be short leaders, long leaders,
Mm-hmm.
long weight. I mean, all that matters. Kentucky
Rattle, no
rigs.
rattle.
Yeah, that's a big one. The rattles.
Float, no float.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to fish with Lance Ludke and Dominic Pellegrino over in Oklahoma at a place we're going to be going next year. I just announced Kerr Reservoir, and seeing like what they use when they anchor is completely different than I've ever seen, which I'm not going to even talk about because it's their rig, but it was very interesting to see. So I'm lucky enough to go out with a lot of different anglers here and there on fun little trips. And everybody literally has their own little technique, from how Scott wants to cut bait or how they want to put their, if they're using a float, a non-float, a rattle or not a rattle. Just very interesting to see. And then some people, if you catch enough fish on your certain rig, that's all you believe in and all you trust, and you won't switch from that. So, I've seen that too. So it's interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Me and
Cindy's
Scott
asking
had a day. I said, me and Scott's had a day. It wasn't on the river; it was on the lake, and it was winter months. It was early spring, and we were on the lake, and we was fishing for catfish, anchor fishing, and we couldn't catch nothing. And we had one rod that had a float on it, and it was getting slammed as soon as it would go in the water. You'd catch a fish, put a bait on it, they'd slam it. Scott goes, well, I'm going to put a bobber on. He puts a bobber on, slams it. We ended up putting all of our rigs with bobbers on there. I think we caught from like 7 a.m. to noon, we caught close to 65 fish once we switched over to a bobber.
Yeah.
It just stupid, silly little things like that. And Scott knows what I'm talking about the day that happened. That was right before one of our tournaments, I believe.
For sure.
But just a bobber. That's all it took to turn them on.
You think just because they're suspended off the bottom a little bit?
Yeah, I guess. Half the time we were fishing so shallow you could see the bobber.
Yeah, you'd see the splash of the fish. before the rod would go down.
Yeah, before the rod would even go down, you're like, oh, which one is it?
Yeah, if you guys, Scott watched the one-on-one versus me and Brian, and if I was saying a lot in that live, for me in the winter, I don't get to do a lot of shallow water fishing. Really, it's the Missouri River, and I go to maybe once or twice a year. I actually haven't been in a couple of years, but when I was pre-fishing a little bit, and I had caught some fish in like 1.5 foot of water, literally 1.5 foot, and I had the planer board, and like 30 yards from the planer board, that fish would hit and make big splash. So it's really fun seeing that. And that's a fun bite. But it's hard when you're used to fishing deep water, like throughout the rest of the year, to go in the Missouri in December and throw your bait where you can almost see it floating. But, a lot of people do that. And a lot of people have success. So I just haven't really, after the tournament on the Red River, I'm going to try to do a little bit more shallow water stuff. Probably I'll start Saturday. We'll see.
It wouldn't hurt you to do some shallow water stuff for this tournament coming up.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
No, Scott, don't be telling too much.
I caught a 60-pounder.
He said shallow water, and he's also saying fast current. So,
yeah, fast water and current, shallow water. If you could, you could find that with some fish, you'd be doing all right.
So Greg said Mississippi was 45 last Saturday on pool 26. And Cindy's asking, what's the water temperature here? And then are both ramps above the lock at Alton? So Cindy, it'll be like a lot of the Alton tournaments that we do there's not a lot of ramp access. So there's a ramp right above the Alton, right below the Alton Bridge, above the Alton Dam. And then you'll have, if you go below the dam, you'll have Columbia Bottom should be accessible, right? Pretty much Columbia Bottom, St. Charles. Yeah. And you can use downtown St. Louis and Rush Island. So plenty of places to put in. But yeah, and the water temp on the Missouri then today, Scott, what do you say?
I didn't look at it today. I was in Nathan's boat, so I didn't get to look at the graph any good. So
yeah, I called you guys. I was hoping you'd FaceTime and show where you were, but I know where he was saying you weren't there. So
just don't do that tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna hit it again tomorrow. See what it's like. But I think
I need to get you guys on my Life 360 plan. That should do it, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
But you're right. I can see your history right in there. Nathan said he thinks it was 45. So 45 is, I don't know, what's a really cold water down there in the winter? Does it get a lot?
35. When it's
Donald said it's 45 on the Missouri. Where it was Sunday.
Me and Jake fished one time. It was 14 degrees out, and I think the water was like 34 degrees, 35, and the blue cats were so lethargic. We caught a couple of them. Didn't even know they were on the rod until we went to move a spot.
Yeah, I remember that. We were reeling in. I'm like, dude, I got a fish on. No, you don't. I'm like, no, I do. Had like a 15-pounder on. I call it ghost bite, and they'll go up there, they'll eat it, and they'll just sit there.
Yep.
But they're hitting pretty hard with this 45-degree water.
Oh yeah. Yep. When I was getting back to that shallow water bite, I caught a 60-pounder and 2 foot of water, and that thing was coming out of the water like a bass.
Oh, but that's awesome.
It was insane.
So what can you tell us a little bit about the rig you're using? Are you using the same rig in that shallow water as you are on if you're kind of going in there to throw out into the deeper stuff? Or do you switch the rig?
No, pretty much I run 2 different rigs. I run a slip rig and a 3-way. I mean, it's pretty simple. Sometimes I'll throw a rattle on there and sometimes I won't. I think the biggest thing is leader length. From even from your weight to your swivel, or your overall hook to your swivel. Big difference.
See, I run what Scott runs, the slip rig, the 3-way, but I also like the Kentucky rig, and I'll put 2 hooks above it.
2 hooks and 2 baits, or 2 hooks and 1 bait, or
2 hooks, 2 baits. So pretty much you got the weight at the very end of your leader line, and then I do, it's kind of like your dead sticking setup. And I do 2 hooks spaced out, I don't know, 18 inches, covering a couple
So then
different water columns.
Bottom.
Do what?
Your weight's directly on the bottom then.
Yeah. Yep.
What weights are you throwing in that shallow water?
I run about an 8-ounce weight everywhere. I don't change it up too much. 6 to 8 ounce.
Okay.
We did fish a little heavier current today. I mean, it was. I think I put a 12 on. I gave it a pretty good toss behind the boat.
So here's a question I always have, and I ask everybody because I always get different answers. But I see a lot of people that, like, let's say that you're going to go out and you're pre-fishing or it's tournament day, and you go into a big box dike you're going to go in. Do you shut your engine off, put your trolling motor down, and be as quiet as you can when you go in there? Or do you just big engine in and that's not going to scare them? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Go ahead, Jake.
Me and Scott's had this discussion, and I did some testing with Live Scope. It does spook them if it's shallow water. Now, in the deeper, I don't think I've seen it, really, this being spooked. That's just what I see on the graph. I think, me personally, if you have the patience and the time to kill the big motor and be on the troll motor, you're better off. I mean, that's the route to go. But if you're running and gunning, not everybody has a lot of time to throw that troll motor down and then idle into there and spend 15, 20 minutes scouting a dike out when you can run in there with a big motor and in and out in 5 minutes or less.
Yeah. True.
I've seen it. I've honestly seen it to where on the Live Scope where it hasn't scared the fish when you turn your main graph off because it's pinging. Your sonar actually pings. Obviously, that's how it gets its waves. I've seen it to where you turn that off and fish get a lot less spooky.
Yeah, I fished some recently that absolutely. I've turned mine off in shallow water, especially like on the red when I was in, some of them shallow little coves. I shut everything off. I know a lot of people, but then on the flip side, I see people that do well and they roll in, big engine on, they leave their sonars on, they got music playing, they're cooking, Joe Lunsford's cooking steaks and, he'll slam up against the rock inside the dike. So, and then he catches fish. So I don't know. I would rather take that precaution and be as quiet as I can to go in there. Cause you think that, they're not used to something come in there scaring and everything like that. So that might shut them down for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's your take, Scott?
Basically same thing like you said. If it's shallow water, I usually have my trolling motor down. But one main thing I like to do is make one pass, either with the trolling motor or the big motor. I'm not going to continue to drive over them fish 2 or 3 times. I want to make one good pass, find them, and set up on them.
And we've been doing the last couple trips. We've done where we'll go into the dike and scan and be like, oh, there's some really nice fish in there, and just leave the dike completely and go scan a couple others, let it calm down, and then come back in there silent, stealthy wise, and then fish it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you go into one, you're like, dude, that's got some nice fish in it. All right, let's go check like 3 dikes up and see if there's anything nicer. If not, we'll circle back around here, get in there real quiet, and we'll fish these, fish on these.
Yeah, one thing I noticed, like that Missouri River Classic that I did, I found a really big. I don't know what the difference between a straight dike and an L dike. It was just a long straight dike, I guess, that comes straight out, but it was huge. Trail dike. So in the middle, though, between the bank and like the current seam, there was another like completely slack water. So on the bank side, it was drawn water up, and then on the other side it was obviously going down. But there was like almost like a 10-yard stretch, 10 yards wide, like probably 100 yards long, where that water was just like completely dead, and there was some wood kind of stacked in there, and there was fish. That's the one fish I caught was in there, but it was like 15 foot, so it was really tough to. You'd almost have to double anchor or anchor off to one side and kind of like fan out, but it was tough. It was almost an area where you could probably try to drag some baits. I didn't know anybody dragging baits on the Missouri in a scenario like that.
I've never.
But I have heard stories of guys dragging baits down on the Mississippi River, further south where they're spread out pretty
True.
good and doing really good on it.
But I mean, there's not a ton of dikes that you could probably do that on the Missouri that I know of. There's a few, but that's kind of a lot of work to get all your stuff out and drag for 50 yards or whatever and turn around.
Hey,
that's kind of what I was doing at Red River.
Let us know how it works out for you on Saturday. Try it Saturday for us.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm going to try that on Saturday, but
maybe you and Brian should have another bet. You shave the other side of your mustache.
So what? When I first did it, I left like down to here on both sides, and
you should have left it.
It scared me, and I'm like, So, yeah. Anyways, Phil Brown says on some of the biggest lakes in the country, the bite is better when the electronics are off and trolling motor off and just free drift. So I think we call that, I don't know, what do we call that, Phil? Like every once in a while, like on the Sea Arc tournament, Phil's just out in the middle of the lake and he's just going with the wind, and he's got his rods out and he does really well. But he's always, I love Phil. But it's hard to sometimes shut your music off, and
I do the same thing. I call it more of a natural drift. I'd rather not run my troll motor or anything, because I mean, if the wind's blowing that way, that's the way the plankton and the shad and all the other bait's going to be moving with the wind current. So why not go the same with it?
Yep.
I mainly use the troll motor then just to keep the boat straight.
Yeah. So Cody said, shallow water, I am on anchor and everything off or standby. So yeah, another thing, I know you guys got power poles, and they are a big sponsor, but I've got the paddles and I'm going to put them on before Saturday, because I really wish I had them at that Red River thing. And after seeing a lot of people with the paddles, they love them. So I know you guys talk about them like crazy. So
yeah, for spot walking, they help a lot.
Caleb McAdams, please post info on this tournament. So Caleb, after the show tonight, I will post the flyer on the Twisted Cat page and all the info above it with their phone numbers so you can reach out to them. But Caleb, like we talked about earlier, that they're going to have Jake and Scott are doing a tournament out of Alton, Illinois, Bluff City outdoors. So you'll start at Bluff City, 5 a.m. You can get your live well check and sign up, and then you can go to similar to the Twisted Cat and Alton Classic, and then go fishing at 7, quit fishing at 2, be back by 3. Is that correct?
Yep.
And 3 fish?
3 fish, 6 rods. Yep, 7 to 2. I mean, this is just a fun tournament. A lot of local guys that are pretty big up on the tournament in our area. So I say a fun tournament, but there's a lot of competition going to be here.
From what Scott's been saying is there's going to be a lot of fish caught. How many fish did you catch today, Scott?
10.
But
4 hours.
I mean, how many places did you have a double or a triple and you're like, oh, these are 10, 15 pounders, let's move?
Yeah, that was our 2 spots. We caught all the fish, and we did a lot of scanning. So
there's going to be a lot of fish caught, but I also think there's going to be a lot of giants caught. So even if you're not fishing it, go up to Bluff City for the weigh-in, go buy some stuff from Mark, help him out since he helped us out, and it should be a pretty interesting tournament.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have 100 pounds, you might as well throw them back, is what they're kind of saying.
Yeah, and we're only paying out three spots plus big fish, so it's going to be interesting.
I'm throwing giant bait then.
Big bait.
Caleb,
big
what are you
fish.
saying? And Caleb, I don't know that I really want to fish against you, but come on down. Caleb, you remember Caleb? He caught the 106 in the Classic.
What did you say? Tell Brian stay home so you can win, or what?
No.
Oh,
Oh, shots. Shots.
You're gonna get it until you have another tournament against them.
I know.
Wait till end of December when everybody shows up for the Ozarks.
Yeah, now Charlie says, am I watching the Three Stooges? You know what? We should see how Charlie comes up this weekend and step up.
the way it sounds, he's getting a new troll motor, so I don't know if he's gonna be fishing or not.
Yeah, but you know what he will be doing?
Mounting a troll motor.
Yeah. Josh Fuller, is anybody going to be selling fresh bait? And Sakoti says he would be throwing, he agrees to be throwing whole skips or whatever's king there. I'm not even taking
Hey
my bait
Josh,
knives.
you could go to Wren Lake for us and catch a whole bunch of shad and bring it up.
I'm kind of in, like, I'd like to buy some fresh bait. So
There you go. Josh is sitting down there by Wren Lake, man, and there's so much shad on Wren Lake, it's ridiculous. I think this is actually it's funny because Josh Gopp's on there. I've been talking to him a little bit about this. He's never fished the river before. This will be his first time fishing the river.
nice. Get him stepped up, ready for the March tournament.
There you go.
Come
He
on,
does
Josh.
good here. He'll be hooked.
Yeah. Let's see. So we'll post some info about this afterward. And again, like you guys said, our first event, Lake of the Ozarks, December 30th. You think I know that better? Yeah, December 30th, New Year's Eve weekend. Thanks, Jerry. And I don't want to hear any of your crap. He said, "Nice stash." Jerry Dillard. Have you guys ever met Jerry Dillard? He's hilarious. So anyways, I was kind of doing a little jab back at you guys because if you remember, and you know what's funny is I didn't even mean the post today, but let's see if I can pull this up. And if you watching that video about the Keystone, you guys, I'm sure you were shaking your head. Because you guys are very familiar with measuring fish at Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah, what's that say? I plead the fifth.
Man, our
Yeah.
first tournament down there, the slot limit, we were like, what the hell is this slot limit? So we made sure everything was inside the slot limit. So everything we had was, well, you couldn't even weigh in.
Yeah, perfect 20-pounders.
Yeah.
You guys would have won that tournament, but I think all you have was slots.
I think so.
I think you literally believe that slots were all you could weigh.
Yeah.
Well, why would you want to keep 1 to 6 pound fish for your unders?
I know. So that was actually my first tournament ever that I had to do measure, and it was rough because I personally measure all the fish just like in this one here. So then a huge shout out to Kevin Parks. He makes the rulers that I use and a lot of us tournament directors use. But this picture is perfect. And somebody made a comment today that I have to kind of not call them out, but it looks like I'm weighing or measuring that fish on its side. But what I'm doing is I'm pinching the tail and swiping. That's actually Lance Ludke's fish, Lance and Dominic at Keystone. And I want to say that was the closest fish at that tournament. And I can't believe those guys. I mean, it could be closer, but like that is like extremely close. Like close enough I called them up and like, you guys are lucky because they got first place. And then I'll show the other picture. Let's see if I have it. Just because somebody thought that we were weighing them on their side. So then that's how we, or not weighing, measuring them, measure these fish on their belly, put their head up against the bump board, and then squeeze and swipe their tail. And 5, 6, 7 years ago when Jake and Scott came, they didn't listen to anything I said about a ruler. Half the teams there, I think.
We had a ruler.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only thing we knew about any type of a limit down there was just from down in Alabama.
Yeah.
Never really heard of a slot. I think it was snowing and raining, and it was a cold day that day.
That tournament I DQ'd. I don't know what 15 teams you think. Most of them were just. I mean, it.
Moral of the story, though, that is the funnest tournament that I've ever fished. Like I was kind of sad that you didn't have it this year, because usually, like, I'll bring the girlfriend and Scott bring the girlfriend. We take both of our boats and we get a place right on the lake and go hop into different restaurants on the boat for lunch or whatever. I mean, it's just a darn good time, and there's a ton of fish. I mean, you're gonna catch fish.
Yeah, what is that? Tucker's Shuckers down there. It's a pretty good place.
Yeah, that was a good place.
So where we used to have it at Robbins Resort, which is close to the, I don't know, Grand Glaze Bridge or whatever. Now it's at Alhana Resort, which is also has the Blue Cat Lounge from the movie Ozarks. And one of the guys that used to work there wrote the show. So they actually, it's a pretty cool story. So it'll be fun. They got a nice restaurant bar. You can stay there. You can put your boat in there that morning. You can stay at the Horny Toad across at that resort. They got food and drinks. You can boat over in the morning. So what's fun about the lake events is you can stay on the water. You can boat to me in the morning off the dock, go fishing, come back, weigh your fish. But really, like, once you get to the lake, you can put your boat in and leave it on the water all week. Yeah. And it's a good fish.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like I said, if you go down there and don't catch fish, your name's Charlie Blair, or you didn't have bait in the water.
I just say, you didn't have bait on the hook, because you're gonna catch fish.
Last time we were down there, my Amy, my girlfriend, she caught an albino down there. She reeled it in. She's like, "Oh, look at this one, it's white." I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
It's a fun place. Like I said, the cool thing is you can go pre-fishing, and you're 30 miles away. You can find a restaurant to go dock your boat, go eat, get warm, whatever. I haven't looked at the extended forecast, but I know that the average temp is 60 at Lake of the Ozarks that weekend. So it could be 12 and snowing, or 7.
So we're gonna have are we gonna have a big party or what for New Year's?
Yeah, so a lot of us are staying. So New Year's Eve is Sunday. A lot of people are staying until Monday. So I will be there until Monday. I'm going to probably be down there from Thursday to Monday. So
that might be worth doing for sure.
And if you can't,
whole weekend.
Alhana's probably booked or close to being booked. So if you can't stay there, obviously you can look around there. But I know the Horny Toad's got a big resort on the other side of the cove. There's there's thousands of places to stay down there. So just make sure you get something booked. Make sure you book something that lets you put your boat in the water in a covered slip. There's nothing better than staying a couple days, waking up, walking down to the dock. Your boat's in a covered slip with power. You go fishing. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
The last time we was down there, it was dark, and we was like, "Man, Scott, let's go down to the dock." And we picked up some crappie rods, and we were crappie fishing off the dock, just sitting by the boats and crappie fishing.
Yeah. So it'll be good. I'm excited. I'm going to try to get down there and check things out here in a week or two. But that'll kick the 2024 season off. Like I said, it's been 3 years since we've been to Lake of the Ozarks, so I've been wanting to go back, but it's so tough to go there during the normal season because there's so many people, so many pleasure boats. You can't barely do anything. I mean, it's not catfish or fishing friendly, but it'll be awesome this time. And I think we'll see some big fish. I really do.
So what do you think of big fish?
If you remember, like when Boomer Wilson fished a lot down there, he was always catching big fish. Him and a few other people that fished that bottom end in the winter would always catch some bigger fish. So I think first place will be over 100 pounds with 2 overs and 3 unders, obviously none in the slot. I think you'll see one that somebody's going to have one over 50, 60. I think it'll be a good turnout too.
Hmm.
I think we're well over 20 boats right now.
Nice.
Should be a
Yeah,
good
the
event.
Ozarks is a real good place to go.
Fun
Especially-
fishery, fun place, good food.
3 hours from St. Louis, so or two hours. So
Yeah, it's
Pretty
not
easy
that far.
No.
Nope.
Charlie said, I think I catch the biggest fish and most fish every time I'm in the boat. Talking smack is all you guys have. I love it. Shows who's scared of me. Well, Charlie, if you're gonna talk a smack, come on Saturday. Bring your boat.
There you
Let's
go.
Come on.
Yeah. So everybody in the comments, what do you think the top 3 fish are going to be? Put it down.
Yeah, in the comment
What
section.
do you
put,
think it's going to be, Scott? I got it here for the record right now. What it's going to be on the live.
Hold on, let me get everything. Let me get ready to write it down. I'm gonna go big fish. Big fish 85, and total 165.
That's close. I'm thinking 150, 150s for sure.
Yeah.
Scott's like,
Alright.
yeah.
I'm writing it down. What do
Probably
you got?
90 pounds are going to be big fish.
Woo.
And 158.
I'm thinking 150s is going to be it for sure. This time of year, last year, we caught how many 50-pounders in one day, Scott?
Too many.
5 or 6 over 50 pounds from like 7 o'clock to maybe noon, or it was to the point where we left at 1 o'clock because we were tired.
Yeah.
We was
Ran
tired
out
of
of-
reeling fish in.
I guess that was January 1st. We ran out of bait, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
problem to have. Running out of bait.
It
Running
was-
out of bait, and we were tired. We was just plumb wore out.
Right.
Like the next day, we both was like, "Holy shit, man, we're hurting."
Ooh,
Yep.
Big Will Ash, he says big fish 90, total 190s.
Ooh. And that's who I'm
That's
fishing
one
with.
thing
Me and Will's fishing
yeah,
together.
one thing. Yeah, Will is gonna swing for the fences every time.
Well, Will and Scott's fishing together, so that could be dangerous.
I think what I'm gonna do is just hang out at Bluff City until they leave, and then just follow them.
Yeah, come to Columbia Bottoms. That's where we're headed.
I don't believe you.
Or Winfield Dam, right?
Winfield is
No.
where you're.
All jokes aside, I mean there's some good fish still up north. I don't think a lot of them's come down yet.
For the Bluff City tackle tournament, there was a 100-pounder that was caught above the dam. Maggot, didn't he caught that one above the dam, didn't he?
Yeah, that was for Jason's tournament.
Oh yeah, that was for Big Cat Matheni's tournament.
Yep.
I thought it was Bluff City, but yeah, there was the 100-pounder caught up there.
Has anybody caught more 100-pound fish than Anthony Maggart?
Man,
He's caught quite a bit.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
That's
know
what-
anybody really.
I wonder what he's doing. I mean, to catch so many, I mean, I wonder if it's.
Sounds like you need to have him on the show.
I don't know that he's
That's
gonna
what
say
I
much.
think. I think you need to get him on the show.
I'll get him on the show. What Jerry said 60 big fish, total 116. Anybody watching tonight in the comments, are you fishing this weekend or plan on coming to down to Alton, Illinois? I know Jeff Howe, he caught a big fish just recently. He said Tim Scott has caught a lot of fish over 100. Yeah, now Tim Scott, that's the Illinois record holder, right?
No, I think that's It's Tim something else, I believe.
Oh, it
Uh,
2 Tims.
Yep.
Yeah, he said he's
Try-
fishing. Tim
He's
Pruitt.
trying to make it a Scott now, is what it is. Scott's trying to make it where he's holding it.
I'm trying to get that 100-pounder before the end of the year. Trying.
So, what's your top 3 big fish? What do you say?
The 90 that I just caught a little while back and or a couple weeks ago, really. 88 year tournament, and then I had an 85 that same year. I caught the 88.
And then he had an 80 that I broke a rib on Wheeler.
Yeah, I think that was 82 that time.
82, yeah.
But Jake still holds the record in my boat for big fish.
Top 2 big fish.
Yeah, top 2. Yep, that's for sure.
And what's that?
What is that first one, Scott? How big do you want to say that one was? That aired out the
105 would-
scale.
105 would be a safe bet.
Yeah. And then the 92.
Yeah.
I don't even know what my third one would be. Like 80 something maybe.
How big a bait did you use on that 100-pounder?
Itty bitty. It was like the size of a thumb, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was like one of them 3-inch shad.
Yeah. I caught that on an itty bitty hook too, didn't I?
Yeah, what, 6-aught?
6-aught. I was using my channel cat rigs. I
Yeah.
downsized everything. I think it was the only fish that we caught that whole day.
I think so. You had to go see Garth Brooks, right?
Yeah, I had to go to a concert.
Greg said Greg Holtgrave will be there. No trolling motor in his new boat. Well, Greg, they'll be excited to have you. And Josh Roth said that Tim Pruitt's 124 pounds is the record.
Yeah, for Illinois.
Yeah, I don't know what the
So,
Missouri one is.
132, I believe.
134, I think.
134.
Josh can confirm on the Missouri. But real quick, while Josh is confirming that, I want to get back to the shallow water bite. And I really do believe when you say that you're shallow, you're shallow. And I want to just make sure, is this how shallow you're talking that you like to get?
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
shots
Yeah.
fired.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anybody
I remember that day.
Shane, he likes to go shallow. I mean, that's how shallow he gets. Now, how in the world did you get out of that? How did you get in there?
So real
Good
big
friends.
shout out. Big shout out to Bill Ray on Facebook and Stu Thatcher. They come to my rescue. That was all the way up the Merrimack, place I shouldn't have been.
Oh,
What time
shoot.
of year? That must have been a cold. That was the winter.
No,
Alton
that was
Classic.
like a week before your March.
Alton
tournament.
Classic.
Yeah. Or one of them.
I mean,
No,
you
it
know
was
that
March.
you have
It was
shallow
the
water
Alton
anchors.
Classic.
Yeah.
Alton Classic. Why didn't you want to use your shallow water anchors? You just wanted to get even, or you didn't have to use anything.
Right, yeah. You know, the anchors only work for the back end, so you really got to get that front plowed.
So it looks like there's some rocks there.
Yeah, that's
A lot of
I
rocks.
walked out- I had knee boots on, and let's say that I hooked the rope up to my boat, 200-foot rope, and walked it back to Dwayne, hooked it to his boat, and my feet never got wet.
Wow. So
Yeah.
so his boat pulled it out.
Yeah. So, I don't know, 200 feet behind the boat, there's about 4 foot of water, enough to spin my boat around and get it drug into the deeper.
Did you? I mean, how fast were you going when you hit?
40.
That
But, you know-
that probably scared you to death, didn't it?
Hey,
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah.
If Sea Ark wanted a very good documentary on their catfishing boat, Scott's boat would be the one to do it, because that's whatever. That's normal.
Yeah.
What about your
The
prop?
the boat being strong and the tolerance of a Suzuki lower unit, you'll have a boat for a lifetime. You can do anything.
Trey says that still brings tears to my eyes.
I
That should
come
be like
around
a
like-
secret
Go ahead.
photo right there.
Yeah.
Oh no, that ain't nothing. We've done some other stuff.
Yeah. I had like 4-inch rocks on the inside of my boat where the prop was grabbing rocks and throwing them.
Oh my. Yeah, that's Richard says going skinny.
Yeah, real skinny there.
Oh my.
The bad
Troy
thing
said
is,
he said that's good boat placement. You need that boat solid for good anchor setup.
for them soft bite days, really see the rod going.
Yeah. Yeah.
I told when Dwayne got there, I walked out to him. He's like, how should I pull this out? I said, well, just go against the bank, which is another probably a couple 100 feet away. I said, get in front of me and just drag me off these rocks. He's like, no, it's shallow all the way across. I said, oh, I guess you have to pull me backwards. I don't know. But yeah, him and Stu came out to my rescue pretty fast. I think I was only there for a couple hours. So
There might have been a
Dude.
couple.
you got buddies like that.
There might have been a couple memes that was out there that says you can't park there. You can't park there.
No parking.
So in this picture here, it looks like you're eating lunch, but you got your power poles down, and it looks like you're kind of in the slack water here, and you got your trolling motor just at like on spot lock, or kind of go over what you got going on here.
So that's actually in a current. That's a big shallow flat. That water there is probably only 5 foot deep, 6 foot deep. I'm just spot locked and using the paddles on the back to keep the boat straight as possible. If there's any
so you're
type,
using paddles. Okay, cool.
yeah. So if there's any
Yep.
type of west wind on that or east wind on the Missouri, it blows up the Missouri. So you got to put your paddles down to kind of keep the boat straight.
Or the spot lock will just start doing circles back, forth, back, forth,
Right.
back,
Yeah.
forth.
Keep fighting the boat itself.
So you have a positive force.
Right.
And what trolling motor are you using?
Garmin.
How do you like it?
That's one of the best trolling motors I've ever owned.
Whew. I just
So
got
that's
done
a-
rebuilding mine.
Well, if Scott, anything on Scott's boat still works, it's worth buying. I'll tell you that.
Legit.
Yeah.
How many
I've done
props you
some,
been through on that patrol motor, Scott?
How many what?
How many props have you put on that patrol motor?
2. One. I guess I had bought one right off the bat.
And
Well,
how's it look? How's the one you got on there look?
It's rough.
I don't think I have any pictures of the prop.
I think you were standing next to me one time, Alex, there at the Ozarks when I went to load the boat and grounded on the concrete.
I was there. I was pulling you out.
Yeah.
That was a brand new prop too.
That was the year we
brand
got
new.
disqualified.
Oh
One of the
yeah, I
years
was
got
cringing.
disqualified. The
That was a
Ozarks
steep ramp.
not been good to me sometimes.
Yeah.
Always my fault though.
Nathan said I'll never give Scott a seat on my boat.
Who?
I don't know what that
Eilers.
means.
Who said that?
Eilers.
Nathan Eilers.
Oh,
For MRM down there, them seats, CARC seats are not the best. And
Oh, you broke a pedestal?
oh yeah, broke the pedestal. Same thing Jake's done to my boat. Them big waves on the lakes and river. It's hard on them.
That's what. So Richard says I carry 2 extra Garmin props on my boat. That's actually something real smart. You travel even like this weekend 3-4 hours or 10 hours to a tournament. I know guys that have an extra prop because obviously you're in some shallow water and you hit a prop on a rock and you're done. I mean, if you got
Yeah.
one blade or you drop both. So do you guys carry extra props?
I've got one in my truck for my trolling motor. I keep a
I've been-
spare for quite a bit of stuff.
I've been through a couple props on my new trolling motor already, but no, I do not keep a spare, which I should.
So
I've always
Scott's
got one in my
motto-
truck.
Scott's motto should just be it'll buff out.
Buff out.
Legit. That's what it is.
So I guess this is a good time to talk about this. Jason Mathenia, me and him had a talk, probably 10 years ago at one of my tournaments in Columbia Bottoms, because I've had some people go in the water. Some very scary situations. So even this weekend with water temps at 45, it can get dangerous if you don't have it together, especially if you're by yourself. So are there any things that is there an extra precautions that you take when you're going to go, Scott, by yourself? You put in at Columbia Bottoms and you run 10, 15 miles up, because if you fall in the water, you're always told, well, you need to get all your clothes off when you get back in the boat and have an extra set of clothes. So I've talked to some anglers that are even vacuum sealing a whole extra set of clothes to put in their boat. Obviously wearing a life jacket. What's some of the things you guys do? Because I've actually fell in the water when it was like pretty warm out, and that was rough. And I can't imagine on the Missouri, especially if you can't get back in your boat. I mean, some things could be dangerous. What are the precautions you guys take, especially since you fish by yourself a lot?
Yeah, so I mean, having a set of clothes in the boat would be the best thing to do possible. I do not, but one big thing I try to do is by myself. I try not to get on that back deck, even though there's a lot of stuff to stop you. I just don't I mean, I do, but I try not to. There's nothing. I really don't take any precaution. Just be careful.
Because
Watch
and
your
why
step.
Scott says this about not getting on the back deck, and me and him's had this conversation, and we've seen it happen multiple times. So when you catch a fish, where do you put that fish at? On that back deck. You're in the wintertime, say it's 30 degrees out, it freezes. It's an ice rink. So we try staying off of there because it's slicker than snot. Even on the front, and I've had some close calls with Scott, even getting the trolling motor, going up there, getting the trolling motor, even dropping an anchor, because a little bit of water on that front deck and it freezes. It takes one little patch, one little spot, and you can go over. It don't matter how good a balance you have or anything else. It's the ice.
Yeah.
That's true.
A big thing to watch out, and I've had a couple scares, I guess you could call them, on the dikes themselves. You get out on the dikes, on the rocks to throw your anchor to get it set good. You go to hop back in the boat and the rocks give out underneath your feet. I fell down a couple times and, upside down looking at the river by myself. I'm like, slow down, take your time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guys that are having extra clothes in the boat, that's the safest thing to do.
Yeah, like I said, it's like this weekend won't be. I think it's going to be in the 50s. Did I look at that right?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be beautiful out.
So it'll be good. But that if you remember the tournament that I'm talking about, it was Columbia Bottoms. I postponed it. I don't ever postpone, but it was like tornado warnings on Saturday and like 70 degrees and crazy thunderstorms. So we postponed it to Sunday, and then Sunday was the crazy cold front and it dropped. Water was still pretty cold, but I think it was J.R. Bird. Who was that crew there?
I don't know if he wants his name out there, but I know who you're talking about.
Was it Brad's boat?
Yeah, Springfield guys.
Yeah, the Springfield guys. We won't bring his name up, but these guys know what they're doing, and they threw an anchor, and then one of the anglers went after he threw the anchor. He was just trying to, have the rope in his hand, and he grabbed it, went in the water, and then I remember, I will use J.R. Bird's name, but J.R. Bird called me, and this is like at 9 a.m, and he's like, "Hey, we got a man that fell in the water and all this," and you know how Bird is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, whatever, fine, you know what I mean? And then 10 minutes later, he calls me again. He's like, "Hey, we're on our way. You know, be ready." He's freezing, and I'm like, "I'm sure he's freezing. He fell in the water." You know what I mean? So I had my truck running. I was actually in my truck, you know, that morning after you guys had taken off. I drove down the ramp all the way down to the water, had the heat crank, the heat seat on, and then they rolled up, and they had to help. 2 guys had to help get him out of the boat, get him in my truck. And this guy is like a funny, I don't know if you know who you're talking about, Jake, but very, like, he's always joking and stuff. I mean, you know, Scott, and there was zero jokes. Like, he wasn't talking. It was once I seen that, that's where I like understood that is a very, very dangerous thing. And, you know, it could have been much worse. So we got him in my truck, went up to my trailer, got all his clothes off. And then I had some extra like Twisted Cat stuff, but it was rough. I mean, you're talking, he was probably to my truck, and I would say 20 minutes from when they fell to my truck seat in 20 minutes. And he was not doing that good. So that just kind of goes to show you. I mean, it's all fun and funny and to joke about, but I'm glad that situation happened so I could understand how bad and severe that can be. So I vacuum sealed a pair of clothes or an extra set of clothes that I had, and try to always wear my life jacket because I tend to fall in the water somehow every once in a while. I believe I get pushed, but yeah.
Steve pushed you that last time or what?
No, Seth did.
Seth,
Oh, definitely.
And I even grabbed onto the rod holder when I fell in that video. I wish I could do it in slow-mo, but that could have been much worse because you go upside down like in a second and you're like, what just happened? You know, and then you're soaked. And then take like what you did. I wish I could play that video. You could have been really injured.
Oh, I felt it the whole weekend.
You can feel it when you watch the video. If you watch the video, you can feel it.
Hey, we landed fish. It was like 83 pounds or something. That's all that mattered at the time. But yeah, it hurt. It was. Oh, he's surfing now, ain't he, Scott?
I've sent him a couple of videos over the years, you know, that send a video of a friend that really sucks at fishing, and there goes Jake.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nate Blint said, been there, done that, stay out of the water with these temperatures. And then Sean's got a good point. He says he always makes a short rope about 10 or 12 foot tied to the front that if needed, he can loop it down into the water and tie it to a cleat to use it for a step to get back in the boat. So
whenever I took my class for the Coast Guard, they actually showed taking kind of like what he was saying is you take a rope and you tie it to your front cleat and you tie it to the back cleat. And it kind of droops down just a little bit past the rub rail. So what happens is if you're on the water, you can grab a hold of that and it'll stretch enough to where you can actually straddle it and use it to stand on to get into your boat if you don't have a ladder. And even if you do have a ladder, you can still grab a hold of it because it's draping down a little bit and you can use it to walk yourself to the rear of the boat.
Yeah.
Because if you have rain gear on and everything else with rubber boots and stuff and you can't swim, at least you can use your arms to work your way down the boat. And hopefully you can even get to the boat. I mean, that's some of the stuff, some of the videos they showed us. I mean, in current, say you're in current, like losing sight, like say throw a bobber out there in the current and always having somebody pointing at that bobber the whole time. Never lose sight of that thing. That's one big thing that they taught us. Because you can turn over here and look to the left and go back and you're like, shit, where'd it go?
Yeah. Oh, TJ, my boy, he said a good enclosure and a heater can be a saver too. Yeah, I'll have I don't know that well, if it does any kind of rain, which hopefully it won't, I'll have the enclosure up this weekend. But yeah, like I said, as it gets a little cooler, you just got to have, and more people that are getting into catfishing in the winter, it can be dangerous, especially when it's 13 degrees out there, like you guys said you fished, and you can put a couple of fish on the deck, it's going to be turned to ice real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that enclosure, we had to put the rods and reels inside the enclosure after reeling one in because they'd freeze up the line and everything as you're reeling it. It would be froze up, so you had to let it sit in the enclosure to thaw out a little bit. then you cast it out. But yeah, it's interesting sometimes.
Yeah.
So they might be calling for a little rain Saturday, but that ain't gonna stop us.
No, the only way we'd ever cancel a tournament if, there's crazy weather or real strong winds, but I think we're going to be good.
I think that's what it was at Columbia Bottoms that year. Do you remember, wasn't it like 70-mile-an-hour gust?
I think it was one of your March tournaments, wasn't it?
It was my first tournament of the year in March, yeah.
Mhm.
Columbia Bottoms.
So you know how that could be. 40-degree water temp. Not good.
No.
The good old Columbia Bottoms tournaments.
No, I wish I could, I had a picture somewhere of that place. I took a drone photo one of the last times down there, and man, that was such a beautiful area. It's sad to see what it is now.
Rumor has it they're going to work on getting that road fixed, or a different road. They're going to have a blacktop road, but it's not going to be. It's going to be the short way. That's the rumor that I heard.
I also heard that they're taking the levee out and trying to make it more of like a wetlands or something.
That wouldn't be good.
All I know is I used to work with Andy Tatmeyer there, and ever since he left, it's just not. I mean, maybe that's just what the committee wants, but ever since Andy left, it seems like nothing can get done. Andy used to. I mean, I remember, if you remember years ago, I mean, they would come down with front end loaders and clean the ramp and make sure everything was mowed. I mean, it was a really nice place to do a tournament. We had some big turnouts. I mean, 70 boat turnouts at Columbia Bottoms.
Yeah.
You couldn't. I don't know where to do with 70 boats or 40 boats really. It's kind of
that was like the tournament. Like everybody loved going to that one down there just because, like you said, it was a nice area. The way in was cool.
Yeah, I wish
line up down the road.
Get back to that one soon, but the way how low the river is and all that.
Oh my, it's crazy. And I think aren't they working on some dikes on the Missouri down that way now? Aren't they fixing them all? Or
yeah, all the way from here all the way to Jefferson City. So I heard they fixed a lot of dikes here in our area from St. Charles.
This spring they're fixing them too, pretty heavy down on the lower Missouri.
Yep. But I guess them dikes are really designed to catch sediment, all the sand and stuff. I was watching that. I didn't know really.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I always thought they had them just for barges, but I guess it's to catch debris.
Yeah, it's interesting how a lot, like if you see like how that all makes like a big sandbar in the middle, like how it sucks that,
right?
Yeah, I'm excited for Saturday.
Yeah, it should be a good time. We've been wanting to come to the river for 3 or 4 years now, and just it's always something come up, or you need to talk to this person, that person, and I mean, you run a tournament.
I just say Alex knows how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still working on a couple things, but like even with Kerr, so I had a lot of people. If you've seen in the comments, somebody said, "Well, Kerr Reservoir is in Oklahoma, but Fort Smith is in Arkansas." So how that worked is like Kerr Reservoir is really in the middle of nowhere, so it's about a half hour, like 20 to 30 minutes from Fort Smith. But Fort Smith is the town that has everything. So the Arkansas River that I don't even know where it starts, but goes through Keystone Lake, all the way down through Kerr Reservoir, and then down right through Fort Smith. But Fort Smith is like a really nice town. They got a lot of things going on, and they got what they call the Bakery District in like their downtown. It's really nice next to their convention center. So my goal is that we'll check you that morning at that Bakery District right there by the Host Hotel in Fort Smith, and then if you want to put in the river, which is right there, they got 2 or 3 nice ramps, or go to Kerr Reservoir, just right up the river and fish the lakeside. But the lake is a big lake. Like Google Maps don't do it justice. I got to go out there for a couple hours, so it can get pretty gnarly, but you've got some ramps, to put in. Go catch your fish and then come back to the Bakery District in Fort Smith. We'll weigh them, and then we'll either have a company out of Arkansas or the Oklahoma and Arkansas states will work together to take the fish back. So they do that a lot in the bass fishing world, but they're just trying to figure out the logistics of who can really do it and all that. But the goal is that you'll catch your fish, you'll come back to Fort Smith for the weigh-in. So that'll be a really, really cool tournament. Really excited about that tournament.
Yeah.
And big fish. Have you guys ever heard of Kerr Reservoir in Oklahoma? So
I've never heard of big fish west of the Missouri or Mississippi River.
well, yeah, I know, but we're not going to talk about Ouachita right now. That's another subject. But you're gonna see some big fish. So yeah, JT said. So you're gonna be able to fish the river. I gotta pull it up. Are you gonna be able to fish the river at Fort Smith? Absolutely. So if you want to stay on the river section or fish up on the lake section, you can choose either of those. Katana, how does the fishing licenses work? So we'll have all that. We're just kind of finishing all the logistics. I just wanted to get the date out there so you knew that you could save that date if you're taking any vacation. So we'll talk about what license is and how we're going to do all that stuff. And we're getting really close to have everything out. I think we're going to have, I can't believe it, but like 12 or 13 tournaments plus a championship. And then also with, we help with the Alton Catfish Classic. We've got the Sea Ark Owners Catfish Tournament in Alabama. We got a Sea Ark Owners Crappie Tournament at Truman Lake. The Poker Run, Fishing for Freedom in June. So we've got a lot of events that we also help with. Some youth rodeo stuff too. So next year for me is going to be a busy year. Very busy.
I bet you have a pretty good turnout for that crappie tournament.
Yeah, that'll be cool too. So I didn't know that Truman Lake was that good of a crappie event or a crappie fishery until we had our catfish tournament there last year, and a lot of the guys stayed and fished for crappie the next day. So and we kind of announced that, but we do the Sea Ark Owners Catfish. I think this will be like the 13th year, but this will be the first annual, and it's going to be Saturday, May 18th in Truman Lake, Missouri. It'll be a crappie Sea Ark Owners Invitational. So, and we're going to be giving away a Flex 19. We'll be giving away a Pro Cat 200 at the Catfish Tournament. So, crappie fish and you own a Sea Ark, that'll be the place to be. May 18th. We'll have some more info coming out soon. I think registration will start for all Sea Ark events after January 1. And then again, Fishing for Freedom is another awesome event that first weekend of June. If you've not done it, everybody that's done it has always, came back, and it's for a good cause, and it's great to give back to our veterans. So,
yeah, Fishing for Freedom's
awesome. Crappie.
Fishing for Freedoms, you guys have real good turnout for that, don't you?
Yeah, so we usually have around 200 boats and up to 300 veterans from across the entire country. Bass, catfish, crappie. Just like Trey said, Fishing for Freedom is my favorite event of the year. So if you're looking to sponsor the event, help with it, be just help at running the event, anything, let us know, reach out to me, and I'll get you in touch with us, everybody at the crew there, but we'd love to have some people there. But my goal is I'm going to have a flyer out here really soon that has all the events that Twisted Cat Outdoors will be a part of in 2024. So excited about that. Cole says, "What's up, Scott? Is Cole Delp fishing this weekend?"
I think so.
He better be. Cole, I'm gunning for you, boy. I got to meet Cole for the first time at actually one of the things that I do with Twisted Cat. We go to the youth rodeo in Grafton every year and set up and hang out. That's a big event. So he goes, "What?" He goes, "Fishing way." Will your schedule have a photo of your new mustache? People talking smack. You think Charlie's going to show up this weekend?
Scared.
He'll be nervous.
Put the stash on the line, man.
He'll have an excuse if he can't get somebody in the boat with him.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, and to kind of go back to the catfish challenge that we did, you know, with the ACA and everything. It was just kind of something I've been wanting to do, is do like a 1 versus 1, nobody else in the boat, and really having it. Because when you guys fish by yourself enough, but a lot of the guys, you know, it's tough when everything's on the line. It's all you. And if you guys know me well enough to watch me, and I talked to Scott a little bit about this, and actually Seth Macklow today, like I was struggling by 9 a.m. If you knew me personally, you knew that I was struggling inside. Like it's all you. I can't lean on a partner. I can't lean on anybody. Everything I got to do, because I'm live. I'm reading comments. People are saying, people on the guests are coming in saying, Alex, they might have just closed the coffin on you. That's the nail in the coffin. And then I start the boat to make a move. 2 people are, well, he's heading back to the boat ramp to load his boat and go home. I mean, and that hits you when you're by yourself. So like, you got to decide, like, I'm all in. I can't give up, you know? So but it was so fun and addicting as an angler, you know, when you're competitive. So I like that. So we're going to kind of do some more stuff. Brian and Mike Milch are going to go one-on-one. And it kind of shows people that want to get in the sport that, you know, we're not, besides you two, we're not really that superhuman anglers. I mean, anybody can go out there and do it. Obviously, not all of us can catch these 90-pounders like you guys do, but, you know, getting out there and putting the time in is how you catch those big fish.
So like another thing you said during that live video, you're reading all them comments, go fish shallow or fish a ledge. You know, that plays a part in the back of your mind. Like, man, maybe I should move, or
Second
maybe
guessing.
Yeah. If once you start getting in your head like that, I don't know.
You know, and I go back to tournament partners, and just because I've been doing it for 10 years, I've seen so many great teams be good and stay good or fall apart. Because if you think of this, if you take a buddy from work, you know, you're all invested, you've been doing it, but you're having a bad morning, and your buddy from work's like, we're not catching it, maybe we should move. Like, it kind of makes you second guess, and you do things you maybe wouldn't have done or shouldn't do, you know. And again, like when you're by yourself, it puts everything on you, because now you have the world watching you. You're live. You can't have a breakdown, throw your rod in the water. Like, you got to, like, it's on. And like, I'll never forget, I know exactly where I was when I sat down, I decided to make a move, and people are talking smack in my ear, and I'm looking at comments that are just destroying me. Like, he didn't have a chance. He's going to the boat ramp. And I'm like, what do you do? I mean, I got like 10 pounds in the boat, and Brian just put a 30 in the screen and shut the, you know, nail to the coffin. So I don't know. I love it. And
Nice.
I can't wait to do it again.
Be a guide.
Oh, I
mean, that's how it is. That's
And
why
I
I think Mr. Mike Mitchell's gonna do really good, because that's what he does, and he's darn good at it. I mean,
agree.
when you're out guiding, you're the brains.
Yeah.
I remember when Scott started guiding, he's like, holy moly.
Yeah, you know, you guide. I started guiding out on Carlisle Lake, and you know, some of these trips are only 4 hours. You got 3 people wanting to catch fish. You hit a spot, you know, and you know, one drift might take you 30, 40 minutes, and that's a long 40 minutes if you don't get a bite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just reading some of the comments now. But no, like I said, we're going to look at doing more of this one-on-one stuff. We're also doing the Twisted Cat live on the water during the tournaments. Just trying to bring value to new people that are getting in the sport. You guys have been doing it long enough to see we're starting to get a lot younger people, younger generation, more people getting in to catfishing, and then the sport's really growing. So pretty excited about that. And I don't know, like I said, hopefully maybe we get you two against each other. I'd like to see that. That'd be fun.
And a good thing like our Chasing Cats tournament is we get a lot of brand new people that's never fished a tournament before. So we really try to help them out.
We hope for that. That's what we're trying to do.
Get to you, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, it's all these tournaments. We want all the tournaments to be successful. And there's a lot of good tournaments and trails out there. And I remember the first tournaments that I was fishing, you know, I showed up and I had an old pontoon, and it doesn't matter what boat you have, but I wish I could find a picture of my pontoon, but I'll never forget my very first tournament. It was like a 7 p.m. to midnight in pool 20. And I barely had the trailer that could travel 10 miles down the road, but I went there, fished. We got 4th out of like 15 boats, and we caught a bunch of shad. We were new, but we could at least catch bait. But out of like 15 boats, probably 5 boats were using shad. The rest were using stink bait. And I remember people were making fun of me and saying like, oh, I wonder what kind of stink bait they're using. But, you know, you just got to go and put in. And like I said, there's a lot of great people that are helping, you know, get people into sport. You know, you go to a tournament and you look at Cole. I mean, Cole I met at this in June, and then he went to Jack and Jill. And granted, I don't think he caught a fish, but he had a blast, took his wife, took his kids. And people like that, and like this tournament this weekend will help get some new people. Just like you said that Josh is, he'll fall in love with it, and then maybe he'll fish in March, and then you know you just never know. And like I said,
You
I
get
had
the
a lot
bug,
of new,
man.
Once you get the bug, it's over, man. I got the bug, and then I took over the tournament trail, but I still, if I'm not putting on a tournament, I'm probably fishing one.
I'm still trying to get this picture out of my head of Alex Nagy going down the river in a pontoon boat with a stash, and maybe like 10 years ago, like a Bass Pro flat hat that's got the nice brim across it. The rope, the old rope hats.
I don't know that I had the old rope hat.
10 years ago, Alex with a stash and a pontoon, bumping with some loud music.
I did have some loud music. So do you not believe me on this pontoon?
Oh, I do. I do believe you. I seen a picture of it one time.
It's sweet, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I'm just picturing you with a stash, driving it.
With a big America flag behind him.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to find it here in a second.
Well, one of the guys that won our last Chasing Cats tournament out at Carlisle, you know, they get there in the morning. I think we had 35 boats or something, 30-ish boats.
Mm-hmm.
And they had an older style boat, and he's like, you know, talking to his buddy, he's like, well, what are we even doing against here? We're not going to catch anything. Look at all these Sea Arc boats out here. And they ended up winning.
They won it.
It doesn't really matter, does it?
And I think we seen them at the Alton Classic, didn't we? Like that year, they went to the Alton Classic.
I think so.
Yeah, they signed up. There's like, you never know unless you try it.
Yeah. It was
Adam's
his name, but I'm not going to butcher his last name.
As I was scrolling down, here's the first 103 I weighed. And again, that's a different, when you see that in person, that's a giant. So that was Matt Marshall and Justin Wolf. That's a long time ago now.
Hopefully Mr. Wolf comes out of retirement and fishes this weekend. He's probably duck hunting though.
I was told he was on the river not too long ago.
Do what?
Maybe he's
I said I was told he was on the river not too long ago.
Oh.
But I don't know if he was just fun fishing or.
It's one guy to watch out for. He's pretty darn good.
That is a fact. There's going to be a lot of good fishing. What'd you say?
Who is Maggart fishing with this weekend?
No, Justin was fishing a couple weeks ago. Wolf. But earlier this year, Anthony Maggart and Justin fished together when Anthony caught that, 103 or whatever it was, over 100 pounds.
Yeah, it was over 100.
All right, here it is.
Oh boy. Somebody screenshot this and put him in the boat with the stash.
Big stash. Big stash
with a cowboy hat on.
So that was my first catfish boat right there. 24 foot, 1984. And I had a 70 Johnson. It went 12 miles an hour. And you can see the little pink and white cooler with the bait cut on it. So right there is that guy right there, Jason Kaler, is the one that got me hooked. All because of him. And then this was the first fish that's the fish that got me in right there.
That'd do it.
The tug is the drug, man.
Yeah. So
I have to blame Chad Mayfield for getting me into tournament fishing. My uncle, guy that pretty much raised me, he bought a Sea Ark. Him and Chad were buddies. He's like, well, now you got to come down to Alabama and fish these tournaments. You got a Sea Ark now. And we went down there for a week, and you know what Wheeler was like in 16. A lot of 40, 50-pound fish. I think we caught, I don't remember, 10 fish in that slot in one day. Just side drifting. Didn't even know anything about a graph or the wind was blowing. We were going to side drift. Good enough for us.
So Kevin Hoffman said, what are the boundaries and ramps? Again, I'll make a post tonight with Scott and Jake's flyer and put all the kind of details above it and their phone numbers. But really the ramps are on the Missouri up to St. Charles, on the Mississippi north all the way to pretty much the same thing as the Alton Classic or the Twisted Cat events, except just to St. Charles on the Missouri. But definitely give these guys a call, and I'd love to see you Saturday morning, Kevin. Cole's giving me a lot of crap right now. I don't know what's up with that.
And this is going to be at Bluff City Tackle, so he should be open if you got any gear that you need.
Yeah, and I'm sure
Did
there'll
you
be some
forget
bait for
anything?
sale. Yeah. Rods, bow and arrow, anything you need, he's got it.
And
Yeah,
he's
his bow
pretty
selection.
darn good on price. I just picked up
Yes.
6 new reels not too long ago from him. We're going to break them in tomorrow.
Speaking of reels, I used, is it Piscifun? What is that brand? How do you
PC
pronounce
Fun.
that?
PC Fun.
Fun.
It's a fun.
Okay, whatever. So, have you ever used those reels?
Yeah, I've got some for crappie fishing.
Dude, I used those a couple weeks ago, and it blew my mind. I would have thought they were $300 reels.
Mm-hmm.
Shocked by them. And I've got, Takotas and all that, and I love my Takotas, but I was pretty shocked. So I just didn't know what you guys thought, if you have used them or.
I've never used the catfish reels, but I have quite a few of their crappie reels, and they're pretty nice.
For the money, I was blown away. What about you, Scott?
I'm higher class. I use them Shimano Dakotas. Top level.
Line counter? Or you don't probably use line counters on. You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot on that Missouri River, you mark a fish on side imaging. I try to get 100 feet above them, and then when I cast back, I'm going to put that line counter, probably 105 or whatever the water depth is. Trying to get it in that same area of that fish, close as possible. That's a big one, trying to target a single fish.
Pinpointing them.
Yep.
I just cast a whole bunch of places, and it is what it is.
So you just kind of close your eyes and send it.
You ask Scott. I'm the guy that casts 3 miles, and he casts, whatever. I just send her. And then I'm regretting it when we're moving because he's already got all his rods in and everything else, and I'm still on the second one reeling in.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so my side imaging doesn't work. Worth a crap on the Missouri. Mississippi, I'm good, but it's washed out on the Missouri. I don't know what graph you're using, but yeah, side scan. Like when I'm out, side scan's one of the main thing I use. Looking for fish, or that's really about all I have up. the side scan and my Navionics. You
Yep.
said a Solix 15.
That's what me and Scott both run.
Yeah.
I got a Gen 3
Yeah.
and Scott's got a Gen 2.
Yep. You mean you might need to reach out to these boys, take a little sonar trip because you're doing some sonar trips, aren't you,
Yeah,
Jake?
I do starter classes on the water.
Yeah. I know some guys that could use that.
Yeah, I think a lot of big thing is the transducer, you know, where you mount it. It's got to be level. And even mounting it on your boat is a big thing.
Yeah.
How do you level your guys? Do you I've seen the trick with like the quarters where when you're putting an idle and then you put it level with quarters, and then once you put it on the trailer, then you kind of drop your jack, or what's your guys' trick?
I don't
I
level your
just set it and
transducer.
hope it's good, and then I'll pull it out and I'll adjust a little bit more so each trip. Because if you go out enough, if you're out on the water 4 or 5 times a week, you just do a little fine adjustment when you're tightening in the plug, and then you see which one's better. That's what I do, at least.
Yep. I get mine about even with the bottom of the boat and angle it down a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
that shallow water bite really straightens them things out sometimes.
Dude, I don't know. You got to be tough on transducers, props, everything.
That
The other thing that works really good with the adjusting your transducer is I always took like a square, and I'll put it on the underneath of the boat where it's flat, and then just drop it down. Then I'll just tilt the back end of it up just a little bit, because you never want your transducer being below the bottom, because then you'll get a rooster tail.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true. Now he says his Helix works great, but the Solix is hurting. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know. The best advice I can give you, Cole, on your Solix is if you go to just kind of loosen your side nuts, and then on the back of it, you got 2 or 3 wires. Undo them all. Make sure they're all completely off, and then finish taking your sonar off, and then just toss it off the boat.
I want to get some good pictures from that Garmin that you got, Alex.
Yeah,
I've seen some amazing pictures come off of a Garmin. I think a lot of people would have a different opinion on Garmin's.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest. I had Lowrance for 5 years, the 12 lives, and loved the side imaging. But just like with Garmin, some of their technology, they're linked with PowerPole now, and they just work great. I love, like, the first time I was on a lake with the GPS Garmin, I just went up to like the marina and tapped it, and then it came up with like 3 options, like navigate here or navigate to, and you click that, and it's like Google Maps, and it takes you the safest route to that marina. And then when you're going, it'll say you're going to arrive at that point at 3:57 if you continue at 32.3 miles an hour. Like, it was wild.
Oh wow!
So I'm a huge fan of Garmin, for sure. So like on this river tournament, if I know that I'm going to use St. Charles and I run down towards Columbia Bottoms, I can tell you how far I'm going to be, and then once you get going and you're changing your speed, it'll tell you exactly, the safest route and all that. So I'm impressed, very impressed. And the side scan is awesome. So I just had Wally Meyer is trying to be funny. The only reason I'm sharing this is because I'm so impressed. I don't know how. I don't even believe that he did this, but that's impressive.
There it is. Wally's my hero, man. There it is.
I don't even know what kind of screen I got on that boat. That's like a. What do you think that is?
That looks like an old Eagle monitor.
What do you think of them speakers, though? You can tell that I just came from the sandbar with the noodles. The pool noodles on the roof.
That's great.
That's what I call. That's the old hard enclosure. You fold it down, or you fold it. You always got a top on that boat.
That's
Wally,
fun.
that was impressive, man. That's impressive, dude. It looks like I'm looking at that old eagle.
Is Wally going to be fishing this weekend?
I'm gonna say he's nervous. Are you fishing, Wally?
Or he might be
He's not.
guiding.
No matter, you always go with they're nervous if they don't show up. It just sounds better. Just like Charlie, he's got plans.
Charlie's nervous.
Charlie has no plans. Wally's guiding.
Wally's got that new boat. He can fit half the team in there. 20
Yeah,
people.
just register. You're good, Wally.
Yeah, we'll take your money.
What's interesting again this weekend?
$120.
120 per team.
Yep, 20 of that goes to Big Fish, and we pay out first, second, and third.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. Anything else you guys got to talk about? You want to talk about your sponsors? Anything you guys got going on?
Go ahead, Jake.
Well, Slick Stick Rods. I had Dale's Tackle. I don't know. Just it's pretty well. It's kind of Bluff City, this tournament, man. It's kind of what it is, and just trying to have everybody have fun. I mean, that's kind of what this whole tournament's about. It's not to be too serious about it. Hopefully everybody shows up and they're joking and just have a darn good time.
Yep.
Yeah, where are we going to go eat after the tournament? I always like to go get dinner with everybody after the tournament. We going to do that?
We can. I like going to Fast Eddie's over there. That's one of my favorite places.
Good luck on a Saturday evening.
Oh, it's going to be packed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe we could find a place. That'd be fun. I always like to do that. So let's maybe we can shoot for that. And then anybody's got any other, if you're new and you want to come, or you just want to even hang out after the tournament and ask some questions about boats or graphs or whatever, or this would be a good weekend to do that. So
something that me and Scott's always done with these tournaments is if you are new to fishing the river and we know that you're new, message us. We'll give you an area. We'll help you with what we're doing. I don't mind one bit. If you're new to this, send me a message.
I'm doing it right now.
I'll give you all Jake's hotspot.
Yeah, no, honestly, these guys are great. If you're new and you got questions, I know there's going to be some new people this tournament that have never fished the river or a tournament on the river this time of year. So don't be scared to ask us. We'll help you out however we can, and hopefully somebody will have some bait, maybe for sale Saturday morning. So maybe kind of let us know if there is somebody that's going to have some fresh shad, because I know some people will be probably leaving early Saturday morning to drive down there. So it's about almost 3 hours for me to get down there. So
nice. I think we got a couple teams from out of state coming. I mean, not so much Missouri, but Indiana. So
yeah, and I think if Caleb McAdams, he's over by Kansas City. So
oh, nice.
So you're not having your good luck charm fish with you, Alex?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
You got Brian's number. You might need it.
I'm going to tell you, Scott, come on. It's tough to find a partner. It's tough to find somebody fishing with me for a day with this mustache.
Yeah, I can't get too serious with that thing.
Yeah, I mean, I go out there and I try to be serious, and they're laughing the whole time. So, like, it'll be tough for me to find a partner.
Hey, Wally, get him into like a Marlboro, like the Marlboro man with a cowboy hat and everything with the mustache. That's the next one.
Yeah, Wally, I'm pretty good at Photoshop, so don't let me. I'll stay up tonight and I'll really put something on. You really think? I got some good pictures, because remember, I got all these quality pictures of the face pictures, so I can dress him up real nice. Now he's laughing. Looks like Trey. Are you coming, Trey, this weekend?
Yeah, I think Trey and Rusty are fishing together.
Oh my!
Oh, dude, that's gonna
I
be
don't
a hoot.
If those guys catch any fish, I'll be surprised because all they got to do is laugh the entire day on the water. Like, I don't know how they have time to even throw bait in the water, especially if JR's on the boat. That'd be
Dude, I don't know, but I got a picture a few weeks ago during that, what was it, that Missouri tournament that you helped do?
Yeah.
You probably got the
he
same
just-
picture.
The video.
Yeah, he'll be there with Rusty.
The
and JR.
video.
Oh, the video. I got the video.
Yeah. I think you should post that one up.
Yeah, that's going to be the Slick Stick commercial.
He said the dance.
Yeah.
That's what we're
How
talking
do
about.
they get any fishing done? Honestly, which is great. I mean,
Hey, if
I
you're
just
having
laugh.
fun, that's good enough.
100%. Them guys
Just-
have a lot of fun.
Just to think to put a GoPro on their boat for a day, just to see what they do.
Yeah. Looks like Jeff said he might have some bait. Jeff Howe will have plenty of shad for sale. So maybe,
Good deal.
yeah, just maybe if you guys find out, maybe try to post that there'll be shad and how much it's for sale on your page and let me know and I'll get that posted. But yeah, they said they didn't catch any fish that day. That's what Sean said. But yeah, hey, I appreciate you guys being on. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for
I'm
having us.
excited about this event.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Hopefully I can find somebody to fish with me, or it'll be just me and my mustache.
Bring the boy.
But,
Bring Blair with you.
Blair's busy.
Yeah.
Blair's busy.
Scared, busy.
Scared.
Scared. Yeah. But no, thank you guys for being on, and I'll plan on seeing you boys Saturday morning.
Bright and early.
I'll get that posted. You want me to post both your numbers on the post that I make?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Call
And
out after midnight.
Yeah. Best time to call is from 11 to 4 in the morning. 11 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Getting the boat ready. Perfect
And
time.
who are you fishing with, Scott, again, one more time?
Who am I fishing with?
Yeah.
Will Ash.
I know you string it for the fences.
Last time he was in my boat, he had a big one break him off, and I said, "This is a bad way to start a tournament."
Yeah. Well, it'll be fun. I can't wait. I'm excited. But again, thank you guys for being on. Great show. And thanks, everybody, for watching. It's been almost a 2-hour show. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I gotta get ready. I gotta go fishing in the morning. Me and Scott's gonna go hit the river.
So you guys are pre-fishing then, right?
Yeah, we're going to Winfield.
Kinda. I don't know.
Winfield Dam.
I'll be out there quite a few times. I got guide trips this week.
I don't believe that for a second. You're going to the Winfield Dam.
Gonna lock through and go north.
Locking through, and I'm dragging baits. Dragging baits right by the Illinois, Mississippi.
Well, whatever. You're killing me. Wally said, I'm sure I'll see you guys out there. Good luck.
Oh.
We'll see. We will see. All right. Well, hey, I'll see you Saturday. I'll get that posted after this show. Again, thank you guys for being on. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good rest of your Monday night. I'm going to play a little Dynasty 2.0 video from our presenting sponsor, Sea Arc Boats. And then that's it for Monday night live on Twisted Cat Outdoors. Thank you guys again for being on.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. We'll see you.
The Dynasty 2.0 was designed for the serious trophy cat angler and is most often used for tournament fishing. A major key to having a true catfishing boat is its ability to keep the large fish alive so that they can be released back into the water just as healthy as when they were caught. The 2.0's unique design includes a 115-gallon live well that is equipped with an 800 and 1,600-gallon-per-hour fresh water pump. This keeps the contaminated water filtered out and the fresh water coming in. The enormous live well gives plenty of room so that the fish don't get beat around on long boat rides. The Euro-style transom allows for easy access in and out of the boat and is tall enough to deflect large waves that can sometimes arise without much notice. This transom is constructed from 3/16-inch aluminum for added strength. The easy access 3-door battery compartment has plenty of room for batteries, battery chargers, power pole pumps, and additional storage. Rod storage is not a problem. The center rod box is 8 feet long and can hold over 15 rods and reels. The self-bailing bow deck sheds water out of the boat instead of back in the boat when throwing a casting net. The casting area is constructed from tread plate to help eliminate slippage. The bow is also taller than the previous model to combat rough water rides. All of this in combination with the proven 15-degree V-hull, an added reverse chine for more lift, heavy-duty 125-gauge construction, Seatco Air Ride captain and passenger seats, and a durable walk-through windshield makes this boat the most popular in catfishing.
All righty. That's it here on Monday Night Live. And hopefully we see you this weekend. We'll post a little bit of information on our page about the tournament Saturday out of Bluff City Outdoors in Alton, Illinois. And then again, you can register for all the tournaments we have updated. Go to twistedcatoutdoors.com. And actually, I'll run through that really quick to show everybody. I'll share the screen. All right. So if you're wanting to register again, you just go to twistedcatoutdoors.com. And then on the top here, you've got home, shop, registration, rules, contact. So you just click registration. On the top here, it's going to show you the 2024 points, race calculations. Here's how we're doing next year, just like we did it this year. Your top 4 finishes. So if we have 12 events total and you fish 4, we're going to take those 4. If you fish 10, we'll take your best 4 out of 10. And then again, if you want to register, you got Lake of the Ozarks. You got Grand Lake of the Cherokees in Grove, Oklahoma. So New Year's Eve weekend, 12/30, Lake of the Ozarks. February 3rd, Grand Lake of the Cherokees. March 2nd, Alton, Illinois. And then the new one we just added today, Fort Smith, Arkansas. That'll be on Kerr Reservoir in Oklahoma, right there on the border. That's going to be March 16th, St. Patrick's Day weekend. That's going to be a really fun event, an awesome weigh-in. And then Milford Lake, Kansas, May 4th. We're pumped about that. Another new area. Big fish. We've got July 6th in Perryville, Missouri. If you see this picture here, that's going to be the weigh-in. A lot of things we're doing this year is kind of making our weigh-ins fun and exciting and getting more people, around the area involved to watch, you anglers weigh these big fish, downtown in these areas. And then we'll have tanks that'll keep those fish good and healthy and take them back. So Perryville will be a good one on the Mississippi River. So we got Milford Lake will be in Kansas. And then, like I said, July 6th will be in Perryville, Missouri on the Mississippi. And then August 3rd, we're going back to Muscatine, Iowa. And that was an awesome fishery. We had 53 teams, and I think 51 or 52 teams out of 53 weighed a limit of fish. And big fish was, I think, 42 pounds, and their first place was over 70 pounds in their best 5. So, and then 2 weeks later, August 17th, we're going to St. Joe, Missouri. And I hope it doesn't look like this picture with all that rain and thunderstorms. It's going to be a day tournament, but we're really excited about St. Joe. And then September 21st, Burlington, Iowa. We also just haven't announced it yet. August 31st, between St. Joe and Burlington, we're going to have our $150 entry Jack and Jill that just hasn't been posted. We just got that finished up today. So that'll be a non-points event, the Jack and Jill. And that'll be August 31st. And then again, Burlington, Iowa, that'll be a fun one during their festival. That's going to be September 21. And then New Madrid, like always, first weekend, October 5th. We're really pumped about going back to New Madrid. I think we've been there now 6 or 7 years in a row. And then the next one you're going to see, which we haven't posted, is looking to be Keystone Lake, October 19th. And then our championship, hopefully have that posted this weekend. So you just go here to registration, click the tournament that you want. Lake of the Ozarks, you click this. So I'll just show you what it does when you click it. Kelby is definitely be going to Kerr. I think you'd be crazy not to. All right, so I click Lake of the Ozarks, and it's going to load up, and then I'll show you how to see who else is fishing, and also just some cool little things that you get to see while doing that. So it'll take you to this page. This is the ACA registration page. So you'll go down, you'll have instructions on how to register. But if you go to the bottom, you'll see you can register a new team. And then if you click view currently registered teams, I do have to update a few here, but right now here are the teams. We've got 16 teams for Lake of the Ozarks. You're going to register a new team. You just start there, put your team name. You have any questions at all, how to register, if you want to pay cash, if you're going to be in Alton this weekend and want to pay cash for a tournament, you can do that also. And then, so that's how you get registration going. And then if you want to talk rules, want to learn the rules of 2024, here are all the rules for 2024. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Just give me a call, shoot me a text, and I'll walk you through anything. You know, sometimes, you know, the minimum, we recommend a minimum of 50 gallons, but obviously some of these events, you know, in Channel Cat waters, that's a little excessive. So the goal is we just want to keep all the fish good and healthy. We'll weigh fish all day. If you catch a big one, you can bring one in early. But really excited to get the 2024 season started off. Again, here's a look of our big sponsors for our 2023 season. We got some changes coming up in 2024. Like I said, new events, and we're spreading out. So I'm really excited about the championship. Hopefully hear back here at the end of this week, but can't wait to get the season kicked off. Thanks everybody for an awesome 2023 season, and hope to see you in 2024. Again, it's just like a few weeks away, 12/30 at Lake of the Ozarks. It's a great fishery, great venue, lots of things to do. So hope to see you there. We might try to go live this Saturday. If I get to make it down to Alton, we'll go do some live on the water if Scott and Jake are cool with that, just to have some fun and see how the Missouri River does for us. So have a good night, and I'll see you maybe Saturday. If not, we'll see you next Monday on our live podcast. Have a good night.